Turn around and face away from us. Go down to your knees. Do it now.
Room 25. Zuri Zanzibar Resort. The Indian Ocean just outside the door. Rose petals still scattered across the floor from a birthday celebration 3 days before. A wardrobe. A belt. A woman who was supposed to be celebrating the rest of her life. That is where this story begins, not with the investigation, not with the press conferences, not with the attorneys and the statements and the official rulings, but with that room. With what happened inside it. With what 2 countries have spent months trying and failing to explain. Her name was Ashlee Robinson. The world knew her as Ashlee Jana. She was 31 years old. And she never came home. Before we continue, subscribe to this channel for more updates on this case. And tell us in the comments where you're watching from.
Let's go back to the beginning, because in a story this complicated, the beginning matters. Ashlee Robinson was a Miami-based lifestyle influencer with over 130,000 followers on Instagram. Former college soccer player. Texas A&M graduate. The kind of person her friends describe as someone who made every room feel lighter just by walking into it. She had built something real, a brand, an audience, a life that looked as good as it felt. And in early April 2026, she traveled to Zanzibar, Tanzania with her fiancé, Joe McCann, to celebrate her 31st birthday. McCann had proposed on April 3rd during a safari, down on one knee, a lion moving through the brush behind them. She posted the video. She was laughing and crying at the same time, reaching for him with both hands. She wrote, "If this is a dream, no one wake me up." On April 5th, her birthday, she posted one final time. A photo of her feeding a giraffe, rose petals on the floor behind her, the caption reading, "Chapter 31, and I'm exactly where I need to be." That was the last thing she ever posted. For days later, she was dead. What the Instagram feed did not show, what the carefully curated birthday content concealed, was that from the moment this couple arrived at the Zuri Zanzibar on April 4th, they were fighting. Not once, not twice, every single day. 5 consecutive days of arguments serious and visible enough that hotel staff and other guests noticed, remembered, and came forward to tell police. For 5 days, the Zuri Zanzibar watched a couple in escalating conflict at one of the most expensive resorts in East Africa. And on the evening of April 8th, the resort made a decision. They separated the couple, moving McCann to a different villa approximately a 10-minute walk from where Ashlee would remain. And then, and this is a detail that should have been the loudest alarm bell in this entire investigation, the resort filed a formal report with Nungwi Police Station, flagging specific concerns about Ashlee Robinson's safety and well-being. The police were notified, in writing, before anything happened to her, before she was found, and no one came. Ashlee called her mother that evening. She told Yolanda Denise Indres they had gotten into an argument, that hotel staff had moved them to separate rooms. Yolanda heard the distress in her daughter's voice. There was nothing she could do, an ocean between New Jersey and Zanzibar, and no way to cross it fast enough. She waited for the next call. The next call never came from Ashlee. Approximately 2 to 3 hours after the separation, according to ABC News citing police directly, a hotel staff member found Ashlee Robinson unresponsive in her villa. She was rushed to hospital. And then, for 11 hours, Joe McCann said nothing. 11 hours of silence while the woman he was engaged to marry lay dying in a Tanzanian hospital. And when he finally called Yolanda Denise Indres, he told her Ashlee had done something to herself. He said she was stable. He told her not to worry. Ashlee Robinson was not stable. She was dying. And when she died, Yolanda did not hear it from Joe McCann. She heard it from the hotel. From that moment to this one, the Robinson family has not received a single private message, a single call, or a single word of direct communication from the man who proposed to their daughter 6 days before she took her last breath. On April 19, 2026, Zanzibar police made their first official announcement. The conclusion: suicide. North Unguja Regional Police Commander Benedict Mapudra told the media that Ashlee had died by suicide following a domestic dispute with her fiancé. He described the scene: Ashlee found in a wardrobe, hanging from what he described as a piece of cloth torn from her own dress. The family rejected it immediately. Her mother said publicly, "She never showed any sign she would harm herself." Her father, Harry Robinson, said, "Nothing about it makes sense. It just doesn't add up." Her close friend Savannah Britt made a simple, devastating statement. She was happy and so ready to take the next steps with who she thought was the love of her life. The people who knew Ashlee Robinson, who knew her not as a public persona but as a woman, as a daughter, as a friend, looked at that ruling and said no. And they were right to say no, because the physical record said something different. A hospital report from a second facility where Ashlee was treated listed her immediate cause of death as cerebral hypoxia due to strangulation and suffocation. Strangulation. Not hanging. Not suspension. Strangulation, a word that in forensic medicine refers specifically to compression of the neck by an external force. And the same record documented something that has never been publicly explained by any investigator at any point in this case: an unidentified mark on her neck. Not a mark consistent with the belt found at the scene. Not a ligature mark matching the instrument described in the official account. An unidentified mark. In any serious investigation, that word, unidentified, closes nothing. It opens everything. It means a trained medical professional examined Ashlee Robinson's body and found an injury they could not attribute to the object that was supposed to have caused her death. That finding has been on the record since April. It has never been addressed. It has never been explained. It has simply been absorbed into the official suicide ruling as if it does not exist. And then came something that a detective notices immediately, something that should have been front-page news but barely made a ripple. The official account of how Ashlee Robinson died changed. Not once, 3 times. In April, Commander Mapudra said the instrument was cloth torn from her dress. In his April 19th ruling, the instrument became a belt. And then on June 4th, when Tanzania issued its final, permanent, case-closed ruling, the instrument changed again. Now it was a hotel robe belt, a belt provided for guests by the hotel. And the location shifted too. Earlier accounts said she was found in a wardrobe. McCann told investigators he found her hung on a door. The June 4th ruling said a hotel employee found her, using an emergency key during a routine evening check, suspended from the closet's clothing rail. 3 instruments. Multiple locations. One person says he found her. The official account says a hotel worker found her. And at no point, across 2 months, 3 official versions, multiple press conferences, did any Tanzanian investigator acknowledge that these accounts contradicted each other. They simply kept releasing new versions and calling each one definitive. June 4th, 2026. Tanzania's final ruling. Deputy Director Zuberi Kembra, the same man who refused to comment for weeks by citing an ongoing investigation, announced publicly that the case was permanently closed. Ashlee Jana died by suicide as a result of mental distress. And in this final announcement, investigators revealed something that had not appeared in any previous statement: digital evidence. They said they had analyzed both Ashlee's phone and Joe McCann's phone. And what they found on Ashlee's device, they claimed, told the story of a woman in distress. Online searches, they said, including a ChatGPT query about what might constitute a fatal dose of Valium. Text messages to family members and friends that investigators described as reflecting depression. Messages that, in some cases, they characterized as farewell messages. That is an extraordinary claim. If true, if Ashlee Robinson was in the days before her death searching for lethal doses of medication and sending what appeared to be goodbyes to the people she loved, that would be the most significant evidence of intent in this entire case. A detective would want to see that. The family would need to see that. The public following this story deserved to see that. But Tanzania cited this evidence and then closed the file. None of it has been made public. None of it has been shared with the Robinson family. The most powerful claim in the final ruling cannot be tested, cannot be challenged, and cannot be independently verified. You are simply asked to accept it. And the Robinson family has not accepted it. On May 5, 2026, the same day Ashlee Robinson was being laid to rest in New Jersey, Joe McCann broke his silence. He posted a public statement on X. His first words since her death. He opened with a Swahili proverb. The heart is like a forest. One cannot see into it. Then, today's official announcement from Tanzanian authorities that my soulmate Ashlee Robinson died by suicide does not lessen the tragedy of her death. I miss Ashlee every moment of every day, and the pain of being without her will never go away. A sudden loss of this magnitude is not something I can simply get over. And then he expressed gratitude to the dedicated men and women of the Tanzania police force for their, and this is his word, thorough investigation. His attorney issued a separate statement to TMZ. Today, the Tanzania police force officially announced that the tragic death of Ashlee Robinson was beyond any doubt by suicide. Beyond any doubt. The truth now revealed to the world is this. Joe McCann is a completely innocent man. A completely innocent man. On the day of the funeral, he was not invited to attend, posting to the public before he ever picked up the phone and called the people who raised her. Sources told TMZ that McCann was not at Ashlee's funeral. The Robinson family buried their daughter without him, and the statement they received from the man she was going to marry came through a screen addressed to the world on the worst day of their lives. There is one more detail from this period that the coverage has not given enough weight to, and it matters. On April 25th, Ashlee's body was returned to her family in New Jersey. Harry Robinson confirmed it to TMZ. After weeks of waiting, unable to grieve, unable to hold a service, unable to say goodbye, they had her back. And that moment was real, and it was necessary, and it was the one thing in all of this that felt like even a single breath of relief. But Ashlee did not come home complete. She came home without her engagement ring, without her clothes, without a single personal belonging from room 25 of the Zuri Zanzibar. Harry Robinson told TMZ the family had no idea if or when those items would be returned. He said he did not even know with certainty where they were. Think about what that means in a case that had just been declared permanently closed. You do not retain a dead woman's personal effects, including the ring placed on her finger by the man at the center of the investigation, in a case that is actually over. Evidence is held when there is still something to resolve. Tanzania said the case was closed on June 4th, but the ring was not returned, which means the closure they announced and the closure they are actually practicing are two different things. And sitting above all of it, above the shifting accounts, the digital evidence no one can see, the statement posted on the day of the funeral, the ring still in a Tanzanian evidence room, is the independent autopsy the Robinson family commissioned after Ashlee came home. Their own forensic pathologist, their own examination, conducted in the United States, answerable to no government, filtered through no institutional interest in any particular outcome. As of this documentary, those results are still pending. And that pending report is the most important thing in this case right now, because it is the one examination that will look at what happened to Ashlee Robinson with completely independent eyes. If the independent pathologist's findings align with Tanzania's conclusion, that will matter. And if they do not, if the physical evidence on Ashlee's body tells a story that contradicts the official ruling, if the marks and the injuries and the forensic markers say something different from what 3 press conferences have claimed, then the question of what happened in room 25 on the night of April 8th will not be closed. It will be reopened. And no attorney's statement, no official ruling, no proverb about forests and hearts will be able to close it again. Here is what a detective sees when they lay the full picture of this case out flat. They see a woman who called her mother the night she died, distressed, reporting a fight, and who was found dying 2 to 3 hours later after a hotel had already called the police with safety concerns about her. They see hospital documentation listing her cause of death as strangulation and an unidentified mark on her neck that has never been explained. They see 3 different official accounts of the instrument used and the location where she was found, issued over 2 months by the same investigation, each one presented as final. They see the only confirmed primary witness giving an account that contradicts the official version of the discovery. They see a man who waited 11 hours to call her mother, told her the wrong thing about her condition, and then said nothing else for weeks, until the day of the funeral, when he posted on social media. They see digital evidence cited in a final ruling that no one outside the investigation has been allowed to verify. They see a ring sitting in a Tanzanian evidence room in a case that was declared permanently resolved. And they see a family, a father who went to Washington, a mother who gave interviews through grief she should not have had to carry publicly, a community that raised $64,000 so a family could afford to look for the truth, who have not stopped and will not stop. A detective does not call that a closed case. A detective calls that a case where the most important questions were declared answered without being answered, where the evidence most capable of resolving the central mystery was cited but not shown, where the narrative of what happened to a 31-year-old woman changed 3 times and no one in authority was ever asked to explain why, and where the one thing that might finally produce an honest, independent, verifiable forensic answer, the independent autopsy commissioned by her family, is still pending, still coming, still the thing that everything in this case is waiting on. Her name was Ashlee Robinson. The world knew her as Ashlee Jana. She was 31 years old. She was someone's daughter, someone's best friend, someone who called home and sent voice notes and posted birthday photos from the coast of Tanzania and made the people who loved her feel like the world was a warmer place because she was in it. She did not get to come home. She did not get to finish her story on her own terms. But the people fighting for her have not finished theirs. The independent autopsy is coming. The ring is still out there. The questions are still unanswered. And as long as they are, we will be here, covering every development, saying her name, demanding the truth that a 31-year-old woman who called her mother the night she died absolutely deserves. Stay subscribed. We will be right here the moment anything breaks on this case. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Where are you watching from? And what do you believe happened in room 25? Let's keep this conversation going. Because the louder we are, the harder the truth becomes to bury.